Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Velocity 2014 in New York City. I'm here with Shane Evans. Shane, how you doing?
Good, great, thank you.
So you're HP.
Yes, HP software.
Okay, well, so I've noticed something recently that HP has much more visibility at Velocity, or you're increasing the visibility. Is there a reason why now?
Well, I would say first that we probably made a grave error in not showing up sooner. This really should have been our premier event all along. And for years, we kind of just let it go. So I joined this position 2.5 years ago, and that was just one of the first goals, was to get it Velocity and let it be known that we have something to offer you. It's not just about the enterprise, it's about helping everybody perform better.
And so what is it that HP brings to the table in the Velocity space? Because you do have something to offer. I'm trying to figure out precisely what that play is with all the different groups.
Right. So traditionally our focus has been on performance testing, and we're really seeing an evolution there. So for over 15 years, it was all about testing the back end, testing the big box systems, and we're seeing a shift there. It's not
a shift. I like that.
There is a huge shift in that. It's more about the front end, the distribution of services, and we have a lot to offer that community. We have a lot of experience and expertise in how to build high-scale, high-performing systems. HP has 5,000 enterprise customers worldwide that rely on us for everything from performance testing to test automation, application performance management, and that whole life cycle that we've been talking about has actually been in place for quite some time. But I think we've actually failed as a company to deliver it to the non-enterprise customer. So that's why we're here.
Okay, so the non-enterprise customer, are those small companies? What's
small? Not necessarily smaller, but the bleeding edge, the ones who are actually building from the ground up to do something specific, rather than trying to incorporate new technology into old systems.
So someone like Airbnb was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Shazam was 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Absolutely. And we do have a lot of customers that are on that cusp. The Hotwires of the world, Amazon, these are big HP LoadRunner customers. My product is specifically HP LoadRunner. So, as customers grow to a certain point, and it's not just about everybody kind of solving their problems for themselves, they need to solve it for the whole of the company, it becomes a natural selection.
So is LoadRunner a load balancing tool?
Load testing.
Load testing,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about representing your actual users without having to pay hundreds of people to do it. It's a load testing scalability software.
So would you use the results of that for a load balancer then?
You would take the results back to development or even operations and say, based on this, we need X number of front-end servers, we need this capacity in the network, because this is how much bandwidth we're generating. If you expect your application is going to support 10 million users, and I'll give you a good use case actually. Nike is a customer of ours. They use HP LoadRunner Performance Center internally. But when they need to release a new shoe to the world, and they expect they're going to see a huge demand for that shoe on a certain day, when it hits the store online at midnight, they need to test for that demand. So they would put a somewhat representative system in place, capture the flow of the application using a tool like LoadRunner, and then they would spin up hundreds or thousands of machines to generate that load, and then just watch the results. Is there a bottleneck? Do we need to tune anything? Do we need more front ends?
And does LoadRunner then take into consideration different time zones? Or is that part of their model?
You can absolutely. People build very realistic, real-world scenarios where they distribute load from all over the world. One of the things we've done in a recent release was allow customers to spin up generators in the cloud. So using my on-premise tool, I can spin up machines in Amazon all over the world and say I need 1,000 users here and 500 over there, and really represent the entire user base simultaneously. So there are other tools in this space that we actually work quite well together. There's a pretty close-knit community of performance testing, engineering individuals, and we contribute pretty regularly to group discussions like a performance manifesto, if you will, of how do we help companies do this better. So
you guys have like a best practices or a manifesto?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
And it's cross-vendor. It's something that we're really trying to promote.
So I'd like to talk to you about that offline, but that
sure,
sounds very interesting. So you gave a keynote this morning. It was entertaining. So if you had one thing that everyone should take away from that, what would it be?
Don't forget about the back end. I mean, the front end is very important, and there's a lot of great studies out there. I don't know if I mentioned this during my keynote. It kind of flew by. But there's all these studies that say 95% of your performance is on the front end, on the mobile device or in the browser. And that's true. It's technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. But those studies were written by companies like Netflix that control the entire stack. They control everything. Yep. So when you look at the rest of us, the companies that are kind of hobbling it all together, and the same platform that supports your browsers is the one that supports your mobile devices, and it's all driven by some 30-year-old backend that only one person in the company understands, there's a lot more to consider. And we can help with that.
But that's different than LoadRunner, or
it's part of an ecosystem.
Part of an ecosystem.
So LoadRunner is really just
products.
LoadRunner is really just the driving force behind getting the load into the application. There's another product that we've launched here at Velocity called Stormrunner, which is a pure SaaS version of LoadRunner focused on web and mobile.
Okay.
And we've been running tests all week, up to 200,000 users, like very quickly. 5 minutes ramp up, and you've got 100,000 users on your system, which is, you can write scripts for this sort of thing. A lot of developers just say, I'm going to hammer my system with millions of requests, and that's fine. But ours takes into consideration the whole picture.
So it's fair to say that your talk, if one thing was to take away, is a holistic view of a full stack of performance. That's not just the front end.
Absolutely.
Yep. So where do you think HP is going to go in the future with participating in this DevOps and the performance world?
This is a big one for us. I think, like I said, we were late to the party, and a lot of us saw the writing on the wall a few years ago that we needed to do this. We first showed up in Santa Clara to understand what interests the community, what problems are they trying to solve, and now you saw this year, or here in New York, we're contributing more, and you probably see more of that in the future. And not just come and try and pitch product. I mean, I almost hate to have to add that to the end of a keynote to say, oh, and by the way, we can help you with this. But for us, it's about improving our customers' success rates. It's helping them improve, and if they're successful, we're successful.
Yeah, if you're solving problems in the market,
exactly,
everyone needs that. So
exactly.
Shane, thank you for your time. This has been great.
My pleasure. Thank you.